So hi everyone, I will be introducing the event, what the community is, and share with all of you what you can expect in the session today and in our future events later on. In any case, if you are not able to see or hear me or our speaker, please let us know in the chat box as well. So once again, welcome everybody. I am the chapter leader, Drishti Jain, and I lead the Slack platform community chapter here. And today we are celebrating a special milestone as well. We'll come to it in a couple of slides. A little about myself. I'm a computer engineer. I'm a tech geek. I'm a social entrepreneur. I work in the social entrepreneurship space to encourage people come into the world of coding and technology. And my focus area is a lot about women empowerment and encouraging women to recontinue their careers, come back to tech, and also for people who are just out of college to encourage them to take up a career in technology. I'm an international speaker. I've spoken across the globe at various technical conferences, presented my ideas, projects, talked about open source projects across the world, and I'm a mentor to a number of students and young professionals. Being an international technology speaker, I have had the opportunity to travel to various places, and that is where I got my interest to give back to the community and actually build a community wherein people can come together, talk about technology together, and feel that it is a safe space to share ideas. So this is a part of that community as well. This is the SPC, Pimpri-Chinchwad chapter. So we are supported by Slack, and we tend to discuss a lot of topics related to Slack, and also anything and everything that you want to hear about, do let me know. We are currently a 100 group member strong group. I'm really proud of it. We started less than a year ago, and that too during the time when everything was in lockdown mode due to COVID-19. And leading this group virtually to the place that it has come today, I'm very happy and proud as an organizer. The group was created last year, and then we have grown tremendously, and we are now 100 members strong. So a big round of applause to all you members who are bringing this community to such a huge platform. So a kudos to everybody on the back. And I would like to tell all of you that this is a place wherein we focus on three things. That is to share your knowledge with sessions like these, wherein the speaker is sharing their knowledge. Also put in something that you know about in the Slack channel of SPC Pimpri-Chinchwad. Learn along the way, because learning is a give and take process. You will learn something from the speaker will learn something from you. You will learn from your fellow attendees as well. So I encourage you to go ahead and make the most of this community and grow all along the way. Also, if you want, you can share your experience over Twitter. You can tag me. My Twitter handle is @Drishti Jain. So that is a good way to become visible across the community. This is the SPC workspace. If anybody of you is new for the session today and does not know about the SPC and the community, about various events that we do. So SPC Workplace is a great place to be connected. You'll get to know about various events that are coming up, share any problems that you're having in your day-to-day job, any coding related issue or any integration related issue. And there will be somebody from the community who must have faced that earlier and would like to help you out. So a great place to connect is the SPC Workspace. And also you can search for for SPC Pimpri-Chinchwad, and you can join our channel, the chapter channel, wherein more things specific to the chapter are discussed. Coming to today's event. So today's event is Slack Connect and Slack integration with Salesforce. And an important part about, just to give you a sneak peek about what we are going to discuss today. So there'll be two topics, Slack Connect and Slack integration with Salesforce. And one of the most important things that we come across, especially right now, is in this virtual world, how do we go ahead and collaborate with our fellow peers? How do we do that? So Slack Connect will be a great way. We have a very interesting talk ahead for all of you. And the second part of the talk would focus upon integrating Salesforce with Slack. So Slack was recently acquired by Salesforce, so it is a big ecosystem that we have now come into. So why not use and harness the power of both of these great technologies and bring it to life? So before I move ahead, I would like to introduce our speaker today. So we have Rahul Verma, who is a senior engineering manager at Slack, and he is leading the Build by Slack team as well. He is very generous enough to share his time with us and share today's talk with all of us. Hi, Rahul. Thank you for joining in.
Hello, Drishti. Thanks for the introduction. And hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Rahul, we cannot see you. Can you turn on your video camera? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone joining in this afternoon of a long weekend. So we are in the kind of a last leg of the long weekend. It's good that it's good to know that the way Drishti has organized this chapter and the way knowledge sharing has been done in this chapter in this forum, because as she mentioned that she started in the time of COVID, and empowering the virtual tool to gain knowledge and talk to each other and learn from each other. This is a good strong forum, and today I would like to just talk about a few features of Slack which make Slack powerful, as well as the users' life simpler and more productive when they are working on Slack. And I see that in these community forums we have all sorts of users of Slack. We have students, we have industry professionals, and we have like in general, like Slack is being used by farmers in US, political parties, and all kinds of users. So we would talk about like how Slack currently does, like what kind of innovation is happening, what new features are we developing, which can be leveraged to make your life simpler. So, are we good to start,
Yeah,
Drishti?
yeah, we are good to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. 1 second. So I'll share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible now?
It is visible right now.
Okay. Okay, is that visible now?
Yeah, it's visible right now. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The stage is all yours.
Yep. Okay. So without much ado, let's talk about. And I would have loved, to make it more interactive, in which you folks can also like respond or ask questions even while I'm talking. But Drishti, is that possible? Like, can we allow everyone to unmute whenever they want, or is it?
No, so we will actually encourage everybody to post their questions right in the chat and Q&A. I'll be curating that, and then we after the talk.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that works. Good. Okay, so the contents of this session. So it's mainly two features of Slack I thought that I'll be covering today, and both these features are to do with making the work life more simpler and more productive. One is Slack Connect. So I'm sure that the people who are attending this forum, they would have at some point heard about Slack, or maybe interacted with it, or some of you might be even heavy users of it. So Slack Connect is a pretty recent initiative, and it is a game changer completely. So I'll be talking about like what is Slack Connect, what are the features, what are the use cases, and then I'll also like to talk about some of the tech challenges that were solved during implementation of Slack Connect. And then the second part of the session will be to talk about so at Slack, my team focuses on building integrations of Slack with other enterprise softwares and other enterprise softwares like Salesforce, for example. And just to clarify, this integration, the current integration that I'm going to talk about in this session, that has nothing to do with acquisition, like acquisition of Slack by Salesforce. This is an integration which was rolled out prior to any of those discussions happening. And we have built such integrations with multiple other enterprise softwares as well. So this was just built keeping in mind that we wanted to offer the users of Slack an easy way to interact with a powerful platform like Salesforce. So any of the aspect of like deal or acquisition is not in the picture for this integration. Okay, and in the last, as Drishti said, we can make it an open forum and we can ask the questions. Okay, cool. So Slack Connect. So Slack, as we know, is a collaboration tool. Slack allows the people of the same organization working together interact very quickly. There is no need to like interact or collaborate over long-winded emails, which is slow, which is less efficient, which is cumbersome. Slack allows you to collaborate in a channel. For example, all the relevant users are part of that channel, and you exchange messages, ideas, files, and you can automate your flows and interact with other external enterprise softwares, everything from within Slack. So now, how to take that to the next level? Now, if you see in today's world, organizations are more and more connected. So if we see like the organization that we are working in is interacting with a lot of other organizations. We have some vendors who are providing us maybe some human resources, some hardware resources, some software resources. We have interactions with our customers with whom we are working on some products. We want to make releases to the customers, and we want to show them the prototypes, get their feedback. And similarly, like we have some organizations, for example, a big restaurant chain in US called Nando's. They want to interact, like they use Slack to interact with their delivery agents, which is another organization, Deliveroo, which has a lot of thousands of agents working on the field, making the deliveries happen. And they collaborate over Slack with each other to make sure that everything is being delivered on time and on track. So now, as we see that the organizations are getting more and more connected, we wanted to offer Slack's capabilities to the users of the organization, even if you want to interact with the organizations, even if you want to interact with the users of other organizations. And that is what Slack Connect is, that the organizational boundaries do not stop you from collaborating. So it takes the collaboration to the next level, and it's a very secured communication channel is set through Slack Connect to allow all the folks who are required to make a work happen and make the work success to get on the same channel, interact very fast, very effectively. So if we see, what benefits does Slack Connect bring? So of course, one of the aspects is that, we want, if there are multiple organizations collaborating together, we want to establish a channel which is secure, a channel in which each organization's data, messages, files, everything is secured, and they can set their own policies to control and monitor who is sharing what, and also like all the access privileges are configurable. There is a secured enterprise level key management. The data is encrypted. You have full control on how long do you want to retain the data and all of those controls. So a secure channel which offers which allows you to work more quickly alongside your partners, and also like build in valuable relationships with your customers, with your partners, with your vendors. And if we see, and this data is a few months old, Slack Connect has been increasing exponentially. The connected endpoints on Slack Connect have increased exponentially because of the network effect. Let's consider two organizations today. If these two organizations are on a shared channel with Slack Connect, and then both of these two organizations are then interacting with, let's say, three other organizations, and then the network starts building up. I open a shared channel with those three organizations, and those three organizations are then interacting with, let's say, three each. So it's a huge network effect level which is happening with Slack Connect. Exponential growth has happened. 74,000 organizations are already using it, and there are already like 100,000 plus channels across the organizations which are shared. So this is how, like, a quick view of how does it look like. So we want to make sure that the Slack Connect channel, which is shared across organizations, is very easy to distinguish from the channels which only belong to your organization. So there is an icon specific to the Slack Connect channels. You can, like, the people in that channel who are from the different organization will be seen here very clearly, and you will be able to see that they are from a different organization. You will also see this ephemeral message, which can only be seen by you, that whenever you start typing on this channel, that there are people from other organization also in this channel, just to make sure that you are aware of the fact and you're cognizant of the fact that the communication that you're sharing on this channel is meant to be shared across. So, and in fact, I can probably quickly share a snapshot of like how can we start using Slack Connect. One second. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Screen isn't visible. You stop the screen share.
Oh, okay. Is it visible now?
No, is it? It isn't.
Oops. 1 second. How about, can you see it now?
Sorry, no, it isn't visible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it visible
Yes.
now? Okay. So Slack Connect, if your workspace, like if you create a new workspace now, Slack Connect will feature on this left pane. And if you see, here it will show the steps. Like if I go to see how Slack Connect works, it's very simple. You just have to, like, you have full control on who do you want to send a DM to, or with whom do you want to create a channel. And then you can keep an eye on the new connections, share only what's needed, and that's so. Let's say this is a channel which I have created, or let's say let me just create a new channel. So when you create this new channel, you will see this option that share this outside this workspace. And let's say I create a new. And then either you can write the emails of the users who you want to bring into this channel right here, or you can copy the shared link and then you can share that link with the users who you want to invite to this channel by any other means. So let's say so, and then the invitation is sent. If you want to add other people, you can do it very simply here, and you can set the configurations. So this is like so the whole setup once you are using Slack is very simple to invite the people outside of your organization. This channel, once the users from the outside the organization are also part of with this channel, it will start showing up as a Slack Connect channel, and then you can easily distinguish the people who have joined from outside. Now let me just okay. Is the slide set now visible? Okay, so this is a view that we just talked about, and now why Slack Connect is very powerful, because it allows not just to exchange messages like any other messaging application. It allows you to leverage the full potential of Slack's platform, which means that any of the platform apps, like the applications that are available in Slack, like Google Drive, Salesforce or Jira, all of these applications are available on the Slack Connect channels, and also the aspects like Workflow Builder. So you can build your automated workflows. You can define the steps which you want to carry out on that workflow, even in the shared channels. And like Workflow Builder is another very interesting capability of Slack, but in this session we cannot we will not cover Workflow Builder as such. But what I want to convey is that all the capabilities of the Slack platform become available to the Slack Connect channels as well. So what are the use cases of Slack Connect? As I very briefly mentioned when we started, so the customer success teams can build stronger customer relationships, because when customers and the organization are on the same channel, they can communicate very effectively. They can get quicker responses. You can bring all the stakeholders into the same channel, and then so that very transparently the communication can happen. Business development teams can work very quickly with partners on joint initiatives, and this has proven to be very effective amongst the business development, the sales team, to close deals, to ask the queries, to answer the queries from the customers very quickly, to share files from within the Slack channels. And it is I'll talk about the impact that it has brought in terms of timing and the percentage of effort saved in all those initiatives. Sales, again, as I said, early closing of the deals with prospects. Support also, so if you're seeking support from one of the other organization, for example, if let's say you have purchased new software and it has been purchased by a new firm, and when you are installing, you're facing issues, or after installation you're facing some bugs, you can easily ask your partner who is providing that software to you to join that channel, and you can ask those queries in that channel. You can get the answers. Any relevant documentation links can be shared within that channel, which means that support becomes faster. Similarly, marketing and operations are so all the tenets of today's organization, which involve multiple facets of interacting with the external world. Slack Connect allows you to bring all the stakeholders in the same channel and communicate very effectively. So, as I said, the channels shared with the external organizations are visually distinct. So you'll be able to recognize them through the Slack Connect icon. The users from the other organizations which are part of the channel will be easily distinguishable. You see these prompts that there are people from outside organization in this channel. And in the right pane, you will also see which organizations are part of this channel. And then a channel from both sides, what effectively now it means is that, let's say I am part of Slack, and let's say Drishti is part of another organization, which is let's say a not for profit organization, and we have a shared channel between us to communicate. So this will be on the left side will be the Slack's view. The channel name will be the same, and I'll be able to see the users who are part of the other organization in this channel with the icon of their workspace. And similarly, Drishti on the other side will be able to see the same channel name, but she will be able to identify that people from Slack are also part of this channel with a different icon on their workspace. So and then like we can collaborate with any partner on Slack. Even like DMs is another way to like this capability is extended to. So like we can definitely create a channel, but even before creating a channel, if you just want to initiate the conversation with some external partner, you can just use their email, send them an invite, they accept it, and depending on these settings of your workspace, if it requires an admin approval, then the admin approves them joining your workspace, and then you can start talking to them as if you're just talking to any other user of your organization. So that's how simple it is to interact over a DM. DM, when I say, it means direct message. So direct message is like one-to-one between two people. Or it could also be a multi-person DM in which one person could talk to like 2 or 3 people. So it's not a channel, but a direct message conversation. And then like usually what happens is that you start with a DM or a multi-person DM, and then when you have taken the initial steps, and then you create a channel. So, and then there are like multiple use cases for Slack Connect DMs because like as I said, a business development representative hops on a call with the customer, and they want to follow it up with some action items like sharing the answers to their queries. They can just DM them, just send them an invite over Slack using their email. They join, and then they can communicate with them over DM. Similarly, similarly, multiple other organizations and other pillars of the organizations have different use cases to communicate over Slack and DMs. One interesting thing which I want to cover here is that the kind of control that we have when you are using the Slack. And so like these are the workspace settings. So whoever is the admin of the workspace will be able to see all these settings. So Slack Connect for channels is one of the areas in which you can control. So you can definitely like configure who do you want to allow adding another guest. Is it only the workspace owners and admins, or everyone, or anyone can send the invite, but it needs to be approved by only the admins? So all those settings are in here. You can also define what security settings or what permissions do you want to allow for file uploads for Slack Connect. So like if you want to allow any file uploads or any exchanges of the data between users of those channels. And then similarly for Slack Connect DMs also, you can set these settings. So this is the first level of security. There are different other layers. I'll talk about those as well. Okay, so as I said, in terms of numbers, the impact is huge. The sales cycle has been proven to be about 400 times, like 400% faster, or 4 times faster, which means that closing from the point when the sales team used to start interacting with the customer till the point they were able to close the deal. In some organizations' case, it used to take about 4 months. And after using Slack Connect, like bringing their prospective customers also on the Slack Connect channels, these were fastened by 4x, which meant that they were able to close the deal within 1 month. 50% reduction in the weekly meetings, for example, because all the stakeholders are part of the same channel. You're communicating asynchronously very effectively on the Slack Connect channel, so the need of having meetings goes down. And then like double turnaround time for seeking reviews or approvals with your marketing agency or any vendors that you're working with. And all these numbers have come from the customers. Like we've gathered them from the customers who are using Slack Connect. So this was like a quick introduction about what Slack Connect is and how does it add value to the organizations, because no organization is working in silos in today's world. All organizations are interacting with other businesses, and this capability takes the collaboration for work to the next level. Now I'll talk about technically. I don't know how diverse is our audience today, but I'm assuming that some of us would be engineers and would be interested in like how such kind of a feature is implemented or what challenges are faced in implementing such feature. So I'll be talking about those. So the challenge, like the first challenge was that this feature required like offering Slack Connect required a fundamental change in the architecture of Slack. It is because now with this feature, the users are interacting with the users who are not part of that workspace. So which means that like if we go pre-Slack Connect world, then Workspace was a basic unit of, or you can say a basic segmentation unit in Slack's architecture. So we used to have channels within a workspace, and then users who are part of different channels, and they could interact either over DM or over those channels which are part of that workspace. But with Slack Connect now, I create a channel that is part of my workspace, and let's say Drishti has another organization, and the same channel name is now part of Drishti's workspace as well. And what makes it more, the channel configuration could be different in these two workspaces. So for example, the same channel in my workspace could be a public channel, and the same channel in Drishti's workspace could be a private channel. So, and for the users who are new to these terms, private channels are the ones in which the access is restricted, which means that users can join only by invitation. And the public channels are the ones in which anyone can join and all the content is visible to anyone who is doing a search. So this fundamental change was required in the architecture. And I'll talk about like what were the options and how did we go about. So it's basically, if we look at Slack as a multi-tenant architecture, a workspace earlier used to be the single tenant, which means that the way we were sharding our data, the way we were our DB sharding logic was considering the workspace or the team ID as a basic identifier. So we used to shard the data on the basis of the team ID or the workspace ID. So we also used to assign message servers or the search servers on the basis of the workspace ID, because that was the basic unit of identification in the Slack's architecture. Now, as I said, with Slack Connect, now users, those boundaries of the workspace are blurred now. And as I said, channel could be public in one workspace and private in another. So like if now I have to implement this feature, and the choices that I have is either, what we could do is that, let's say one channel which is shared in two workspaces, I keep the data of that channel, all the data of that channel in both the workspaces. Like, a copy is created of the of that channel's data in the hosted workspace or the workspace that initiated the Slack Connect, and also in the other organization's workspace, in which the other organization which joined that channel, and then it became a shared channel. So, but then with this approach, if we see, it's not a very scalable approach, because we are keeping two copies of data. And considering that, as I said, the Slack Connect has seen exponential growth, it's not very easy to keep keep pace with such huge volumes of data, with which is growing every day. If we also consider future, so the number of connected endpoints is growing exponentially. So then in that sense, this approach did not look good option to us, because our scalability could be limited if we took this approach. our ability to like easily scale horizontally. So we did not want to limit that, of course. So then what we thought was that let's consider an approach that currently, if we see how our channels, so there is a table which has channel information, which is like channel ID and the name of the channel and the purpose and also like the other fields for that channel. But now with Slack Connect, let's consider this example in which there is Ben's workspace on the left side and this is Jerry's workspace on the right side. And then we have a channel which is shared across these two workspaces because Ben and Jerry wanted to collaborate on that channel. So now the channel ID, there is one channel ID because it's effectively one channel. So now if we don't want to keep the data of this, all the data of this channel replicated across those two workspaces, what we came up with that, if we create another table, which is the table for shared channels, and then in this shared channel, there will be two rows, one, a row with the same channel ID and the organization, which is like, which is the originator for that shared channel. Which means that, like if in this case, let's say the first one, Ben's organization was the originator, then the first row would contain the data of contain the same channels data, which is there in the channels table. And then in the shared channels table, there will be another row which will have the same channel ID, but the different workspace ID, which is like the Jerry's workspace ID. And it could also, it would mean that I'm overriding that now in Jerry's workspace, basically when we are referencing to this channel, now the description of this channel and the fields like, whether it is private or not private will be overridden in this shared channel, depending on the configuration which Jerry has done on their workspace for this channel. So basically this now allows us to keep track of how that channel is configured in the two different workspaces. So we are keeping that information as two separate rows for one channel, even though the data, all the data that resides in the channel, the messages, the files, the pinned items or the reacts, all of that will be kept only in one shard, and that shard, that will be that shard will be the originator's shard, like whoever initiated that shared channel. That workspace ID will be used to identify the data and reference the data and fetch the data. But the other information, like channel specific configuration, that can be accessed from the shared channels workspace because it will have a separate row for the new shared channel. This was at a very high level, like this is the approach that we have taken for implementing the shared channels. Security is another aspect that I touched upon. Like I showed you the settings. So administration is the part that is done through the settings of that workspace if you're enabling that workspace for the Slack Connect. Then retention. So each of the organization can set up their own retention policies for how long do they want to retain the data. Different organizations now have different compliance requirements, either because of GDPR or there is a California privacy law. So different regions, GDPR is applicable in Europe. So different regions have defined their data retention laws. And so the customers, depending on their compliance requirements, can set up the time frame for which they want to retain the data in a channel. EKM is enterprise key management. So the organizations which are managing their own keys, like in Slack, you can manage your own keys and have all that data encrypted end to end. And the same EKM is extended actually to the Slack Connect channels as well, which means that if my organization and Drishti's organization are connected over Slack Connect, so I can have my data encrypted with my keys, and Drishti's data will be encrypted with Drishti's keys, which also means that if required, I can revoke my messages, I can delete my messages, and Drishti can do that, do the same for her messages on that shared channel. So which means that all the all the encryption related information resides with you, and you have the power. How do you want to use it? And then, of course, verification, which means that only the verified endpoints will be connected through the Slack Connect. So this was about Slack Connect. I'll stop sharing here. I think we have about 11 minutes now. Drishti, do we have we have the session till 5, right?
Yeah, our session is till 5 o'clock. So once again, Rahul, thank you so much. I'll be stopping the recording now so that we can go into Q&A part.